I think they're cranes.
Yeah, is that like good luck thing?
We're literally at the end of my closet right now of clothing.
We have to get you a clothing sponsor. Aloha and welcome to another edition of It's a Hawaii Thing. I'm Lanai and that's Brooke
Hi.
Lee. Yes, don't get us confused.
No.
We have a very special show today. This guest that we're going to bring on is a local boy and his resume is deep.
You've been foaming at the mouth for like a week.
This guy's talented, I tell you.
Yeah.
Honolulu boy, graduate of Iolani High School, ladies and gentlemen. He started on the show Kung Fu. And I grew up watching, I don't think it was only a couple seasons, but he also has a few episodes of MASH. Remember that show?
Oh, yes.
He played a reverend on the show All in the Family with Archie Bunker. His resume is so deep. He shows like Dr. Ken, NCIS, General Hospital, 47 Ronin, Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless.
He's the go-to guy.
Law and Order, Hawaii Five-0, Spider-Man, Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, one of my favorite movies, Boston Legal, Hellboy. He was on Monk, Charmed, Lilo and Stitch, Malcolm in the Middle. Should I keep going?
You're not even getting started.
Pie. He was on American Pie, and he was on a couple of Batmans.
He's been in everything.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Clyde Kusatsu.
Hi.
How you doing, Clyde?
Aloha. Hi, Brooke. Hi, Lanai.
Did I say your last name correct?
Yeah, Kusatsu. Yeah,
Kusatsu. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. Mahalo.
Welcome home, actually, because,
Yeah.
you're Kama'aina. So it's kind of like people don't necessarily realize that he's a homegrown boy.
And you're Hollywood. Well, tell us a little bit about where you're at. You got a lot of stuff going on in there. Is that Clinton in the back over your left shoulder?
Oh, yeah. I had met Bill Clinton back in 2007 or whatever.
My eyes are good still.
You are, yeah.
You are good eyes.
He's in the LA is what it is.
I am, yeah.
He's very
I like
LA.
to see where. And are you in an office? Is this your home?
This is my man cave office.
Nice.
Yeah, where you had the vanity walls that filled with all these pictures.
I love it.
Different, jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So instead of having subjected my family to a whole house full of stuff, my wife would kill me.
Yeah.
Oh, no. This stays all in one room, but it works really well.
Well, you have a lot of memorabilia because you've done so many things.
So much.
What's the last project that you worked on?
I just finished doing a 2-episode arc in the second season of a Netflix show called Never Have I Ever. Which is like
yes.
Never Have I Ever?
Yes.
Yeah, with Darren Barnett.
Okay.
Plays Paxton, a Hapa Holly kid.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm his grandpa, Ted.
Okay.
Wow.
I just saw it on Netflix like 3 days ago.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, while we were doing it, I also booked some episodes of a show on Netflix called Blue Eye Samurai,
Okay.
in which Darren is also in it. I think he's the Blue Eye Samurai.
Nice.
And I just I was invited to be part of the ensemble voice cast for a AMC Plus animated show called Peyton, Phaeton.
Man, you're busy.
Daniel Day Kim is one of the stars of.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I play a cyber creature in cyberspace or whatever.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
How many
That's crazy.
How many TV shows and movies have you done?
Just round up because
Yeah.
there's so many.
I think like over 300 TV shows, and you've added in the feature work, so we're clicking on close to maybe 400.
Man,
talking about stuff.
I can't imagine the residual check. Like, did they come in like
Oh,
20
you
at
mean
a
the
time?
1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents.
Right?
No, it's I'm remarkably blessed and fortunate to be working in this business. And you mentioned Kung Fu. The interesting thing is I got my start in an episode of Kung Fu.
That was my show, man. I was bummed Bruce Lee didn't get it. I know I was like 5.
Oh yeah.
But I was a huge fan.
The whole Carradine.
Yeah, I was a huge
situation.
fan of Kung Fu. That was like me and Bruce Lee, and I followed all of that. What did you act in high school? Like at Iolani, was there acting?
Yeah. I got started like a freshman year. I was doing band. I played clarinet, second chair clarinet in the band. I was in the choir.
Okay.
And our choir teacher, Helen No Lee, recently passed away. But Helen was a real feisty gal. And she came up, and I think she recognized the talent before I did.
Uh-huh.
And I consider her my mentor. And she said, you want to be in the chorus. Somebody dropped out. And I never auditioned because I'm too scared to audition, right? Too embarrassed. I don't know what to do.
Uh-huh.
And so I got plunked into the chorus of Guys and Dolls.
Oh, wow.
And at that time, Iolani was
it was a boys' school, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, boys' school. All boys Episcopal school. And the only way you got off campus to sing was being in the choir, right? So you maybe do chapel at St. Andrew's Priory.
That was your sister school.
Punahou.
Oh, okay, nice.
Sister school, or then sometimes you go sing at Punahou or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're walking with your music, and you're walking, and you're going, hey, did you see that one? But anyway, that's the first time where you get to work with the girls from the Priory or Punahou.
Uh-huh.
They're part of the chorus. And
yeah.
everything. But it was like magic time. It's all of a sudden I felt, wow, I think I belong here, because I was not an athlete,
Yeah.
I'm the type that the 600-yard run walk, I was like little baby steps. And if I tried to run, I'd be heaving my guts out after the
Clyde, we gotta take a quick little break. Don't go anywhere. We're talking story with Clyde Kusatsu right here on It's a Hawaii Thing. Bringing you what matters. Viewers can receive the Star Advertiser digital full access subscription for just $9.95 per month. Go to staradvertiser.com and click on subscribe. Use the code AHITHING. HEC Medical Clinic. Dr. Aries Oda, Hawaii's #1 laser weight loss center for weight loss, reverse diabetes, and heart disease. Call today for your limited time special, only $37. Lose 1 to 2 inches instantly. Welcome back to It's a Hawaii Thing, talking story with Clyde. This resume is massive. What was out of everything that you've done, the 400 movies and TV shows, you're kind of like, what's his name? Guy, I said it the other day.
You said Samuel L. Jackson.
You're the Samuel L. Jackson of Asians.
You predate Samuel L. Jackson as far as credentials are concerned.
But but I ain't making the money.
We can get into that, Clyde. If you want to get into that, we can get into that.
He's really good friends with my cousin, and I asked him one day, how come you're always working? He goes, I got a lot of bills. But he says he was made to work. He's not like one of those guys who picks and choose. He just does everything.
That's why he says, "What's in your wallet?"
Yeah. So what was the most memorable, or that one show that everyone asked you about or that you loved to do?
Ooh, that's a hard choice. Not trying to be bragging about it, but there's so many. It's like, if you talk about one thing personally that I really loved, was doing a Bruce Beresford film called Paradise Road.
Oh, right.
A World War II film where about women prisoners of war who survived the war. It's a true story, by creating a vocal orchestra.
Is it on? Is it somewhere now? Is it on? Can you find it somewhere?
It was a while ago.
It's on Amazon right now.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
It was with Glenn Close. It was Kate Blanchett's first film.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Frances McDormand, Juliana Margulies, and we shot it in Penang, Malaysia.
What a place!
Queensland. Huh?
What a place, Penang. I was there last year.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, right before. Right before.
Like when?
Yeah. What a place, huh?
Oh my God! It's like 24-hour sound.
Yeah. Yes.
And you got the clang, clang, clang.
And the best street food in the world. It's just an amazing country. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. It's like, the one thing I learned shooting in Malaysia was like, in Penang, especially in the little dressing room cubby, they would have a bowl of oranges with a paring knife
everywhere.
And I went, why?
What's that for?
And then I did it, and I went, wow. All of a sudden, the oranges tasted so good.
Yeah.
You got a burst of energy like that because it compensated for the humidity.
Yes.
Which is like, it's like god awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I took a walking tour of Penang in the noon. I went, where is everybody?
Yeah.
And I remembered Mad Dogs and Englishmen under the noonday sun.
Yeah. It's hot there. It's worse than the Philippines, I think.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm gonna go look for that movie. It's on Amazon. I grew up in high school. I never thought I would do it, but I was working with this lady in a kitchen that had a TV on in the kitchen at 14 years old, and she would always watch Young and the Restless. And so what did you do on? Because that's my show right there.
The soap operas?
Yes, the soap. Only that one though. I only got into that one. I didn't get into Korean soap operas or anything. What did you do on Young and the Restless?
Oh, Young and the Restless. I did about 27 episodes. I was the the house OBGYN.
Oh, look at
And
you.
I gotta find you. What years were these? It's been
it's
on
got to be
forever.
in the 90s sometime. Yeah. Whenever it was sort of like, well, so and so off. Who's going to have a baby? Or who's going to lose the baby?
Okay.
Who's on the outs but then got a baby?
Who did Victor Newman get pregnant?
Never with Victor.
Okay.
Never with Victor. Just with the younger people, you know.
That's so awesome.
Well, when you work in soaps, though, it's fast.
Yeah.
It's sort of like you gotta know your lines. You gotta hit your mark, and you cannot take it personally. You gotta know that they're shooting the leads, so you gotta direct yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta look at where the cameras are and go, okay, I gotta do this.
Yeah, it's
this,
like
this,
jump
this.
rope. You're like this. You're like waiting for your jump, and then you jump in.
That's right.
And then you just jump.
You jump, and then you jump the rope.
Yeah, and then you jump out.
Moving on.
Yeah, and then you jump out.
That's one thing I've never seen shot. Like
What?
I've been to movie sets, TV sets. I've never seen a soap opera shot.
Well, they're
It's
kind of
always
an inclusive people.
Yeah.
They're like sci-fi people, but like everyday. So
Yeah, it
they're like
seems
their
like it.
own little group of people, and they just keep to themselves.
Is there
and
any
shoot themselves.
is there any excitement on those sets? Because everyone seems just, the storylines are all
It's just like
It's
didn't I say
journeyman.
that before?
Yeah,
Or
I
whatever.
mean, but they're like the stevedores of like acting. Like it's a steady gig.
Yeah.
It's good money.
That's true.
And you just turn it out. You turn it and burn it. You turn it and burn it, and you pray to God you go 20 years.
That's true. Huh? Well,
on wood.
Clyde,
Oh, God,
we're going
yeah.
to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to ask you
Sure.
about doing Batman, and that must have been fun. So don't go anywhere, you guys. We'll be right back with more It's a Hawaii Thing. This show is brought to you by Atlas Construction, Hawaii's #1 builder for 8 years in a row. Call them at 808-951-9500 for the quality and service you deserve today. Welcome back to It's a Hawaii Thing. We got Clyde Kusatsu hanging out with us today. Before the break, I asked you about doing Batman. You also did Lilo and Stitch. Do you like doing voiceover, cartoon animation stuff, or do you like doing the television movie stuff?
Oh, I'm an actor, and as the Brits say, I work with some Brit actors. This is whether it's stage, it's voiceover, radio, films, television. We're actors. We're paid to act, aren't we? Aren't we not? Yeah, that's what we are.
Yeah.
It's a great way to do these voices and everything. Because sometimes with the animation, I would be asked to do non-Asian roles as well.
Yeah.
And that it provides a wonderful kind of a feeling that you're accomplishing something as an actor.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I did a thing where there's this guy from Japan his voice is great for the character, and everybody's excited. And you're looking through the window, and I'm looking at the voice director. But the thing about it, even though the voice was authentic, when it came down to, can you make it less authentic and less? They're going, he's trying.
Yeah,
he's trying,
yeah.
but it's not happening.
Because you want a wider audience.
And she's looking at me through the eyes like, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
She's going to be, thank you very much, we're done. And then later on, I'll just revoice that character.
Yeah. That's
because
awesome.
what they want, it's just a technique and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be too sensitive. I mean, you got to be able to. I mean, like Brooke said, you don't sound like you're from the local boy.
Yeah.
Because at the Iolani, it was like, I'm not going to go and hey, to be or not to be is one question. What if it's global in that mind to something?
Yeah.
Who wrote this stuff anyway? Who's this Shakespeare?
Yeah. That reminded me of his Booga Booga, like James Grant Benton and Andy Bumatai. They always they were thespians. Then when he knew that they did Broadway, and it's so good to see that you can turn it on and turn it off, because that's how you know he's a great actor.
It's hard.
Right? Yeah, it is.
I worked with Jimmy back in 1970, the fall.
I love him. He got me started in stand-up. Yeah,
James Grant Benton.
Him and
Andy.
and Andy and Augie, the three of them got me in a room one day, and they were all smoking Pakalolo. And I said, "How do you guys write for comedy?" And they pulled out Pakalolo and said, "This is how we do it."
Can we get lawyers in here? Because this is going to get
It's
ugly.
legal. It's all legal now.
Now?
Yeah, but no, he was a James Grant Benton was a genius. I miss him dearly. I used to talk to him at least 3 times a week. He would call me up in that deep voice. Tabura, what are you doing? Or he would go, Lanai, what are you doing? And what a great man. So you got to work with James.
For a little bit, I was cast, Glenn Cannon cast me in Coriolanus with Paul Winfield, Cyril Cusack, and Jimmy was in it. But then I booked the thing that took me to Aspen, Colorado, as a singing waiter at the Hotel Jerome.
Oh, wow.
Look at you.
Doing gay 90s kind of songs, like Swanee River.
Nice.
Did you work with Ed Kaihea from Booga Booga? No.
I didn't.
Ed and Rap were actually the big thespians. Like Ed would travel all over the world and do one-man shows, and nobody knew this about him. But he was a great.
When
guy
did you
too.
leave and go to the mainland? When did you?
I left in the fall of '66. I was in the first summer stock season for Honolulu Herb Rogers Summer Theater at the Blaisdell Concert Hall.
Wow.
Playing The Crown Prince and the King and I with Ann Blythe. And then I wound up sticking around being an apprentice, carrying valuables or props or whatever.
Cutting your teeth.
And standing on the side, just watching the program. I mean, the shows
that's awesome.
Every night. It was just sucking it all in.
Right.
And then I went to Northwestern, where I thought I was hot, but then there were all these other kids who spent more time in New England or whatever doing summer stock up the ass, and I felt like, ooh.
You're like, but I went to Iolani, and I was in choir, and I went to Punahou, to sing with the big boys. And,
what did you do on?
But my freshman year, I did have a professor come up to me because it was like, I was the only person of color at Northwestern.
I'd assume.
And the professor said, why do you want to be an actor? There's only Tea House of the August Moon and King and I. How can you possibly make a living?
Wow.
And that was really shocking.
Right.
And, at that time, you're Asian kid, you don't say nothing, you don't talk back, right?
No.
Yeah.
Put it all in.
Yeah.
But I worked, then that summer I was at Primo Brewery near Pearl Harbor. And the night shift, and I went, I'm sorry.
We'll leave it.
Yeah.
Kurt's got
okay.
you. Kurt's got you. Yeah.
If I'm going to have to be 10 times better than a white actor or a Holly actor to get noticed, I'm going to have to do that. So I did. So within the next 3 years of Northwestern, I wound up as a working actor doing summer stock in the summers, and half the department would cast me, and the other half would not cast me, but say, this is an example of a working actor in the department.
That's awesome.
And I didn't play any Asian roles or Oriental roles at the time.
Yeah.
And then when I came to Hollywood in '71, all of a sudden you were like, lockbox.
Welcome back to It's a Hawaii Thing. We got Clyde Kusatsu hanging out with us. This guy's resume is unbelievable. What did you do on American Pie? What a movie.
Oh, I was the English teacher.
That's right.
Joe Middleton, who was the casting on it, asked for me to do a favor for these young guys who had doing this movie, high school movie, and it was at that time it was called East Grand Forks High School, and I got on the set, and then the two young directors, their brothers, came up and went, "Thank you very much, sir, for doing this." I went, "Sure, no problem, no worries," And then I didn't hear anything about it. Then months later, I hear everybody's talking about American Pie. This is going to be the biggest hit. American Pie.
It become a cult movie.
What the heck is that?
Yeah.
And then Will Hoy, who was an editor, Chinese-American editor, said, "Dude, this movie you're in American Pie." And it was like, what? Oh, okay, fine.
Did you just do one? How many American Pies did you do?
I just did one.
Yeah, how many? There's three, I think, right? Or four?
3.
They did 5, I think.
5.
Oh, they did 5.
Yeah.
5, yeah.
What a run, boy!
That movie. The same thing with Harold and Kumar.
Oh my gosh! What did you do on that show? What did you do on that movie?
I was Harold's dad.
I gotta go back and watch all these. I love that movie.
And then, like, my agent said, it's a real small character. It's got only one line in the scene. And I said, dude, there's a thing called Harold Kumar Go to White Castle.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't a hit in the theatrical department, but the DVDs, it hit big.
Huge.
And that's why they did this other film.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, there was the guys at the casting said, you read even the other parts so that we have more on it. And then we got to the set in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Woo!
The director said, hey, let's have fun. Let's just improvise.
Nice.
Cool. I know you're going to do that.
Yeah.
And so all the stuff you see in the film is what we improv that day of shooting.
It's
because to say, though, is there's no small roles.
Yes.
And you want to do your research, Ben.
Exactly.
And you can't have an attitude like, I'm upset. There's only one line.
Yeah.
No, you create the opportunity.
Yes.
You create the opportunity, and you find a way
make them
to demonstrate
want you.
your ability.
Yeah.
That's such great advice because I'm the one line TV guy.
Well, Amy says the same thing too. Because when they go in the room, people don't know what they want, and then they come in and they serve them what they are, and they're like, "That's what we need.
That's
And you're
such a-
like, oh, I
such a
Jedi
great
mind
tip.
trick them into.
No, that's such a great tip.
I got a role written for me in Magnum PI as this HPD officer that spoke like John Wayne. And that only happened was I did 3 episodes, 2-hour episodes on Magnum, and the last one between setups, it was like, okay, fellas, we're burning light. The Black Tower's not going to be too happy. And everybody would laugh. You break the tension. And evidently somebody in LA, yeah, they said, oh, we're going to create the role. And that's how the role came for Gordon Katsumoto, who's now recreated into the new Magnum. Tim Kang plays him.
Wait.
Tim Kang, I mean.
Tim took your role?
Well, it's a reboot. I'd be too old for it right now.
That is so cool, though.
Interesting.
That what you just said. I always get upset. I've done some small things and Hawaii 5-0 and Magnum and not Magnum yet, but Audition. But what's funny is I always ask, can I do it again in Pidgin? Because it's in Hawaii, right? So if it's ever like a local boy or whatever.
When you're on set or in the audition?
No, in the audition.
Oh, got it.
And then they'll say, yes, please. And then Augie and I did Baywatch like 7 episodes. And every time we were done, the director would say, can you guys do it in Pidgin? They would never use it. They would never use it, but they would, because they knew we'd want to do it in Pidgin.
Oh, got it.
Because it's local boys. You'd have to talk in Pidgin.
Right.
Anyway, Clyde, this just flew by. This.
You have to come when you're in town.
Yes, come in the studio.
Come into the studio.
Well, we have a gift for you just for taking time out to be on our little tiny show.
We have an omiyage
for
from
you.
88 Teas because we love them
and we'll
they're
send
our
it to you.
sponsor. And so now you have T-shirts and you can wear them when you come to town.
And congratulations on all your success. I mean, I know we just met, but I'm so proud of you, and I'm proud to call you my new friend.
He's gonna stalk you.
I'm gonna come see you in LA if that's cool. I mean, there all the time.
He is there all the time. Pandemic, no pandemic, he's always there.
But Clyde, can you stick around for the long version for YouTube?
For YouTube.
Absolutely.
All right, make sure you guys check us out on YouTube. Big round of applause for Clyde.
Yay!
Congratulations on everything that you're doing. Iolani grad. We'll see you next time on It's a Hawaii Thing. Welcome back to It's a Hawaii Thing, the extended version on YouTube.
Yes.
Please subscribe and hit the like button and leave us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. We got Clyde Kusatsu hanging out with us today, and the resume is long. I probably missed.
Extensive.
You said 400. You said 400, 200 something TV shows and movies.
All together.
Yeah.
Collective.
And I mentioned maybe 7 of them or 8 of them.
Yeah.
What did you do on Hellboy, Clyde?
You know, I forget, but I think I was just one of the...
That's how many he did. He forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really,
it all blurs after a while. You know what I'm saying? So funny.
I mean, on Curious George, I'm the grocer. So
are you really?
Yeah, I'm the grocer on Curious George.
Oh,
so
I gotta go
need
watch
the
it.
grocer part. That and
you get casted. You get casted as a judge a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
How many judges? Yeah, how many judges?
They need judges.
How many judges have you done? You know?
I can't remember. You know, but
Yeah.
you know, in many respects, those roles weren't being seen by casting except for whites.
Right.
Those
Yes.
roles.
Yeah.
And then I think in the late 70s, 80s, casting people would call me in, and I'd be the only Asian there. But there'll be a Hispanic, a black, myself, and which was good in a way because there was no, they were looking for actors.
You know what reminded me of it? You remember O.J. Simpson, the story, O.J. Simpson story? They came out later.
The biopic.
Judge Ito. You look like you would play Judge Ito. Remember the dancing Itos? Yeah.
No, I played Judge Ito.
Oh, did you? No. Are you kidding me? Did you really?
No, CBS had a thing called American Tragedy. It was a miniseries.
Yes, that's the one.
1990.
I was thinking, no way.
Judge Ito on that. Yeah.
I was thinking this guy looks like Judge Ito because I watched the show. And you know why I watched the show? Because remember the dancing Itos on Jay Leno show? So Nito Larioza.
You weren't the dancing Itos, though.
But
Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Local boy Nito Larioza, who was the new generation, was the dancing Ito and the choreographer for it. So he would tell me, "Hey, you got to go watch this thing. It's the dancing Itos for Judge Ito."
So funny.
And then it took me down the rabbit hole, and then I watched the movie. And I as soon as you came on today, I was like, this guy looks like Judge Ito.
But he looks familiar from everything because he's literally in everything. So you could throw a dart on any show on a board and be like, Clyde's been in that show. He's like,
Well, I
Kevin
can tell you
Bacon.
a true story.
Okay.
I'll tell you a true story. At Iolani, at Northwestern, there was a Punahou, a Hawaii boy named Elliot Inoki.
Oh.
Right, and we graduated. We were friendly, and last time I saw Elliot, we were headed to the induction center in Chicago because they wanted our asses for the Vietnam War.
Well.
And I never saw him later. But then 20 years later, I'm up for a miniseries called true story miniseries called "And the Sea Will Tell," and the character's name is Elliot Inoki. I went, what?
Say what now?
Wow.
And Elliot became a federal prosecutor in Hawaii. And the case took place in Hawaii, but had to be moved to San Francisco by the judge, Samuel King. And so Richard, and so I wound up playing Elliot 20 years later.
Wow.
There's a lot of coincidences
So
in
crazy.
my career.
Yeah. Sounds
I got
like
to
it.
I worked with Toshiro Mifune twice
Wow.
in Midway, and then later in a John Frankenheimer picture called The Challenge. And then several years later, Mifune's wife at the time, we were doing The Challenge, was pregnant. Then I get a call saying, there's a presenter from NHK would like to have you on her show, Mika Mifune. I went, Mika. And I said, oh, I worked with your dad. She says, I know.
Wow.
My dad will always talk about how terrific it was to work with you, Clyde, and that you helped him so much on his English. I went, really?
Wow.
I was like, wow.
That's
It was
insane.
like, it's a wonderful kind of tribute in a way.
Yeah. Clyde, you live outside of Hollywood, but are you the Hollywood type, like at the beginning of your career or at any time now? Do you go to these parties or events?
Well, I think the closest is because I'm currently the national vice president in Los Angeles of SAG-AFTRA, and I also am on the board of directors for the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. And so I've been able to go to like the SAG Awards every year, except for this year when it's all virtual.
Yeah.
And so you get to, but most of all, it's like, hi, good to see you. I mean, occasionally I'll run into like Tom Hanks again, because Hanks and I did Volunteers together.
That's right.
And Turner and Hooch together.
That's
Turner
right.
and Hooch, what a movie!
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, because when we did that in Monterey, there was no character, and then Tom says, so, "What name you want to use?" And I said, "Well, my son's name is Kevin." He says, "Oh, okay, good." Kevin.
Oh, really?
That's what we're gonna do.
When you see it.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So funny.
I gotta watch all these movies again.
Because isn't Volunteers? No, Volunteers is not where he met his wife.
Yeah, Volunteers is what was fun. Yeah, we did that it was supposed to be done in Hawaii, but union problems and everything. So we went down to Tuxtepec, Mexico, about 2.5 hours south of Veracruz.
Dang.
In Oaxaca, East Oaxaca State.
And this was
All the
80s, mid 80s, right? That movie.
85,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, 84, 85. Yeah.
That's a
I've been very.
That's a different
fortunate
Oaxaca than it is now.
Yes,
Oaxaca,
yes.
you been to Oaxaca?
Well, it was different in the 80s than it is now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This happened to be the Eastern Transit site for Pakalolo.
There you go. That's what I was alluding to, but.
So they had different kind of rallies.
Yeah.
It's a different
Everything. I never saw so many bloody guns in my life.
Yeah.
Hey, Clyde, I want to ask you. We've been talking about this a lot, Brooke and I, with different actors from Hawaii. Who do you hang out with as far as other actors from Hawaii? And would you ever think about doing something with all of them? I'm talking about the Jason Momoas, the Jason Scott Lees.
Jason Momoa is a fetus in this man's mind.
No, but don't you think
Jason Scott Lee? I worked with Jason in Bruce Legend about Bruce Lee's story.
Did you
I was
really?
a history teacher.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He bases his whole life on that movie.
Because we just had Jason on. I mean, I've known Jason for a little bit, not as good as Brooke does, but I was so excited to. Not as well. I'm sorry. I went to Lanai High School. So I was excited to talk to him about just Bruce Lee because it was one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't think anyone could have pulled it off. He pulled it off. No one else could have done it.
That was just his second film.
Yes.
The first film he did was Teach.
Yeah, that's right. Right. So would you consider doing something with all Hawaii actors?
Of course, yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's get it going, Clyde.
This is his dream. This is his dream.
Because
really?
everyone says yes, of course, but somebody has to take the lead and get it going, like find the right script, obviously.
Like, Clyde's busy. He's not going to do that. So why don't you do that and then give them a call now that you've built his Rolodex?
You see, Clyde.
He was hitting up Yuji Okamoto yesterday.
No, Yuji sent me 2 emails after that email.
Yeah, so because Yuji was like, just to explain to Lanai, because Lanai, like, he's in the business, but he's not like in the business. And so I asked Yuji, I'm like, how long did Paper Tigers how long did you have to take to get it from conception all the way to now it's on the out there in the zeitgeist? He's like 10 years.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at Lanai, he's like, we got to get a Hui together. We got to do all this thing. I was like, it took him 10 years.
Yeah, before all these guys die. We got to do it now. That's why I'm talking about it right now.
It took 10 years to get the project together. And, but...
No, but think about this, Clyde. All the talent that we have here in Hawaii, I mean, just not actors. We have baseball players, football players, everything, singers.
I'm more interested, honestly, with Clyde because he's been like there from the get-go.
I know, but he would be a great leader to help get this going.
What is his perception as he's watched the winding road of the perception of Asian American identity in Hollywood? You've been down this road before.
Clyde, on a side note, just think about this. The Filipinos are now starting to get together and create their own movies. The Chinese obviously are doing it. The Koreans are doing it.
They've been doing it.
Yeah. It's our time to do it. And everyone
you mean
comes.
Hawaii? Or, okay.
I'm talking about Hawaii. And everyone, where do they go to shoot? Hawaii.
Wow.
And right. So what do you think? Do you think we could pull this off?
I think you could pull it off if you did a period piece.
Yes.
The glory days of Hawaii.
Plantation days.
For Hawaiian entertainers. When this place was jumping.
Yes.
When you go to Waikiki, you'd either go to Duke's.
Yuji was just talking about that.
That's what I'm saying.
The Royal Hawaiian.
Yes.
For the Casimeros.
Yes.
There's the Moana Surf Riders for the Society of Seven. You go to watch Oda-san at the Kaimana.
Wow.
Melkabang.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, Mokeala, all the talent was incredible. There was a whole, and you all hang out at Coco's, right?
Yes.
And Coco's was that thing at the crossroads of the Pacific.
That's right.
Where you walk in, and there's all this counter, and then the tables, bar to the right.
And so what is your, what's the flavor? Are you talking like it's a Mad Men kind of like vibe, like back
50s,
then?
60s?
It was like, that was the hot
or
spot?
70s.
Everybody used to come through town and blow through?
70s, that transition. Don Ho was really big and hit. People were going, I mean, part of the thing that we used to hang with after cast shows at the HIC, go to Duke Hanamoku's and the cast would be like, the celebrities go up to singing and stuff like that.
Right.
You had all these people. Talent was discovered by Don Ho and the Lees.
That's
true. It was just it was like a really Hollywood vibe.
Al Harrington and I always talk about that. Remember Al Harrington? He had his own showroom. Yeah.
I didn't realize that Hollywood had such a love affair with Don Ho. Like, they were obsessed.
It was massive. It was massive. Don and I used to have lunch like every 2 weeks. Like his last 5 years he was around. Yeah, he was really helping me and Augie with our careers, and he would tell us these stories of the different Hollywood celebs that would come to town, and they would call. It was like all locals do, right? Your friend or family come to town, then you take them to go eat.
Right.
And he would tell us these stories of these big names, and I'm like, I didn't know that they came here. I didn't know they
were obsessed with him.
Oh, they
and
were
then
obsessed.
They would take him to the mainland. Like, he'd go on all the variety shows on the mainland, and he would be on all of Carol Burnett show.
So Clyde, let me ask you this: do you write?
No, I don't write.
You're not a writer?
I mean, I can look and go, oh, this sounds good, like editing that. But anything kind of creative in that sense, no.
He's too busy.
I would be trying to bullshit everybody that's doing that.
But I will say this about Clyde shapes policy because he's in the union.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
I said it's a perfect example of a guy.
His lane outside of being the great actor that he is like he is on the wall, as they say, looking in and making sure that things are all copacetic and that things are going well and actors are getting protected.
Why I say he would be the perfect guy to help lead
and
this.
He's probably shepherding stuff to come to Hawaii.
Clyde, do you think we're crazy?
No, not. You're not crazy at all, man. I mean, it's like what's happening today is there's awareness with this AAPI, the Stop the Hate campaigns and everything.
Right.
And what people do, all of a sudden are realizing we're on the same boat.
Yeah.
We're looking in the mirror and we're seeing what they see about us. And it doesn't matter if you're Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, Filipino, or whatever. You know that the oldest Asian settlement in the United States is in Barataria Bay outside of New Orleans.
Really?
It's called Little Manila. Yes.
Yes. That's the first place they went. Yeah.
Yeah, and they jumped ship from the galleons.
Yeah.
350 years of Spanish rule.
Yep.
So in the early 1800s, late 1700s, Jean Lafitte, the pirate, had 3 pirate ships.
Yes.
It was manned by 600 to 700 Filipino sailors.
Yes.
So at the Battle of New Orleans in 1814, the War of 1812, Filipinos fought alongside Andrew Jackson and died.
Yes.
I had no
So
idea.
don't be telling me that we don't belong in this country.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
because
100%. That's what I've been sharing it on my pop-up dinners, and then right after that was Morro Bay. The second set of Filipinos hit Morro Bay, and then if you look at what happened with like Daly City in San Francisco.
Where did they come from, though? Did they steal them from the Philippines?
No, I'm going to tell you right
okay.
now. So what happened was the Filipinos came to Hawaii to end up working the sugar plantations, right? Same with the Chinese in 1790 or whatever. And what they did was, if you look at the first Chinatown in the United States, would be San Francisco. Well, if you drive up the coast, you see C&H Sugar. In a sense, for California, Hawaii, all the sugar from here went to California. That's the Filipinos, the Chinese got to America via Hawaii. We were all responsible. Well, this island, this state was responsible for bringing all those Asians. This was the port. This is where you stopped to put gas.
Got it.
Right? Because you had this long journey across the ocean.
Got it.
But what you're saying, there's so many stories like that, what you just said, that we could start it at, and then you go into the but I really like the 60s, 70s, Waikiki.
It's so sexy.
Story.
Like, it's so sexy.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, you know.
It had that vibe. It was that jazz, steamy, soft, whatever. You could go to
romance.
a different place. You know, right.
Yeah.
You know, there were like piano bars all over up Iolani Boulevard. You know, you go in, hey, play Melancholy Baby. Or how about Moonlight in Vermont? You know? And I used to sneak in, and I never get carded because I pretend like, give me a scotch and soda, please. And I pretend to go, okay, here you are. Yeah. But those are the days when we were young and, you know.
Don used to say it was romantic. Don used to say Waikiki was sexy and romantic, like, because everyone was celebrating something that came to town. Honeymoons,
Well, and I remember back then, because my mom, I mean, the women used to have like beehive hairs cuts with like feather lace around. I mean, they were just like dressed to the nines, like all the time, just to go to Long's. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was a different time period.
Clyde, where was your hangout? Like your go-to?
Oh, go-to was like Coco's.
Coco's,
you know,
that was it?
Nice.
Yeah.
That was it. Everybody, after you do a play or whatever, you go to Coco's. It was almost like our like little brown derby. Hey, how you doing? And all that. What you doing here? What's going on? Is this show happening?
My generation was Leaky Leaky Drive-In. Like all the entertainers went to Leaky Leaky.
It's not as sexy sounding
no,
as Coco's.
it's not. There's no
it's there.
entertainment there. Where was your spot to eat when you come home? What's your spot?
What used to be Kamuki Inn, Columbia Inn, Flamingos, Wisteria.
Wisteria.
Yeah, Wisteria was the
Wisteria.
Oh my gosh.
Leaky.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Yeah.
You know, Wisteria is now Zippy's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Frank DeLima used to play next door. Remember, after the Noodle House, he did the room next door to Wisteria, which is their room. But now it's
Wisteria, you could get American dinners and you can get Japanese dinners.
Yes.
Two
Yakitori chicken was the best. What's your spot now? Where do you go when you come home? What do you crave?
Nothing except maybe a Perrier or something. I'm going to be 27 years sober come August 4th.
Okay.
Oh, mazel.
What about food? What do you crave when you come home?
Oh, food. Yeah. Food got to watch. I mean, you know, the 72-year-old has got to watch his carbohydrates and everything like that.
Well, you're in LA, so there's no carbs allowed anyway. So.
But you must crave something. Like, what is it that you crave? Is it Zippy's? Is it a Lau Lau? What is it?
Oh, Simon. Good Simon.
Simon?
Yeah, good Simon. Good wonton min, you know, with barbecue meat.
Stick on the side. You're sounding like you're leaning towards a Shiro's experience.
Yeah, or Simon Palace, or
Does Shiro's have one of? He should have his own bowl.
You should have your name named after you.
BTS Army, get on that. He needs his own bowl at Shiro's. Simon.
Clyde, I'm gonna start an email with you, and we're gonna figure out how we can get a writer for a script, first of all, because I know a couple guys who've written a few things about the plantation days, but we just have to find the right script first, right?
There was only one film recently that was done, was Kiyohata Picture Bride.
Picture Bride, yes.
It was a low-budget film that Tamlin to me.
Tamlin, yes.
Yeah.
And Tamlin's involved too. We asked Tamlin the same question.
Just because you talk to people doesn't mean they're involved.
No, but their mindset.
I legally have to say that.
I have to tell her this all the time. When I grew up on Lanai, very poor and had nothing, my grandfather used to say, if you can think of it and you start talking about it, you're manifesting it, and it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. He said manifest it.
Yeah, everything that in his pidgin word.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the manifest pidgin translate?
I forget what the word was.
Okay.
But anyway,
I'm curious.
Everything happens with talking about it. Everything happens.
Right, but Lanai, you're Hapa though, right?
Yeah.
You're Filipino, Filipino, Japanese.
I'm Filipino, Italian, Hawaiian Chinese.
Hawaiian Chinese.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
But
you got that Hapa vibe there.
Yeah. But my grandfather was adopted, so it's kind of this weird thing where we don't know what is what exactly.
Well, you
and
just
then
take
on
a DNA test.
My father's side, I don't really have a dad. He left when I was really young. But we found out recently that he was my grandfather was a professional boxer who boxed in New York, who met my grandmother, who's Italian Indian.
Like from India?
Cherokee somewhere.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
That's
no,
American
like
Indian.
Yeah.
23andMe then, maybe.
First peoples. Okay.
Anyway, Clyde, we'd love to talk to you forever. You have so many
We're making the date
interesting
right now.
things
When
to
you
talk
come,
to you about.
you'll come on the show in person when you come back to
that'd be
Honolulu.
fun.
But Clyde, congratulations on everything. I hope to meet you in person
Thank you.
soon, and I'm really going to
Thanks,
push this
mahalo.
idea about a movie in Hawaii.
Yeah, let me ask the gal at the animation at DPN is
Voiceover.
Please.
agency about
He's
possibility
gonna
of
hound
you sending
you.
a tape.
He's gonna
Because
hound
there's
you.
a lot of they're looking for voices.
Yes.
Netflix has got so much stuff happening.
Yes.
And there's other streaming stuff and everything like that. It's the new voices they're looking for.
Clyde, you're my new friend. I love you, man. Thank you so much, and congratulations on all your success. Local boy,
Thank you.
We'll
Clyde
see you in a couple
Kusatsu,
months.
ladies and gentlemen. Thank you
Here.
for
All right,
watching It's a
aloha.
Hawaii
See
Thing.
you
Please
later,
subscribe and like, and we'll see you next time on It's a Hawaii Thing.